recorded live from the Midnight Off-Road Production Studio in Bentley,
in front of
Michigan.
a live studio audience.
Live,
There's
at
one
the
person
time.
here. So.
At the time.
At the time.
Welcome to another episode of Behind the Wrenches with Zach and Randy. We're back again.
Yeah, here we are.
I don't know why, but here we are.
Wow.
It's cold here in Michigan. It's cold here in Michigan.
Well, it's snowing.
You know, I don't think I told anyone we were from Michigan. We're from Michigan, so everyone knows that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, not that they probably care or not.
Well, they might have said, listen to the accent of these yahoos.
Right. I had a guy accuse me of that one time. He says, this when I lived out west. So just a quick backstory. I lived in Gillette, Wyoming for about 9 years and worked out there for quite a long time. That's a story for another day right there.
Yeah.
Because that involves Josh and you and... Remember
I never made it out there.
Remember when my truck broke and I had to take your truck and drive out there?
I know. Because my wife came home. Where's the truck? Wyoming.
It's in Wyoming. Yeah. We acquired a dually.
We got a dually. It's out back. Come here, look at it. Don't run. Yeah.
Just so everyone knows, it was a 6.0 Power Stroke.
Yep.
So that's all you got to say about that
Yep.
thing. That thing ate IPR valves like it was nobody's business.
Yeah. It was a daily driver. Wait a minute.
So, to tell you this, so when I was out there were some guys that stopped at the shop I worked at out there, and they were traveling from somewhere in Canada to somewhere in Canada.
Okay.
I don't know where they were coming. I don't
going
remember
through
the exact.
Wyoming.
Yeah, they were. What they did was they left from where they were at, probably over by New York somewhere.
Yeah.
And their plan was to take the summer drive across the United States to California, then back up into Canada and head home.
Okay.
Well, anyways, their car broke down, whatever it was, and I fixed it for them and got it done. Was talking to them. It was 4 guys that were driving, college students. After they left, the one guy that was from there walked up to me. He says, "Man, they talk like you do." I never noticed that.
Well, I had the same thing happen to me when we were in college. I was working at Kmart. Here's a place long gone.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I was unloading a truck, pallets with a fork truck, and the guy was from New York, and I'm unloading him. We're BSing and whatever, and he goes, "You're not from here." And I says, "Why do you say that?" And he says, "You got an accent." And I said, "Oh, I do? Yes, I do. All right, cool." He said, I said, "I'm from Michigan." He goes, "Oh, yeah, I can tell." He says, "You don't sound like anybody that works here."
You should have looked at him. "I'm not your guy, buddy."
Yeah, I'm not your buddy, guy.
I'm not your buddy, guy. Anyways,
Yep.
so today we're discussing, like I said, I got my notebook here again with just smiley faces and stuff in it.
Yeah.
But we're talking about daily drivers today.
Yeah.
Why?
Well,
I don't know. What's your daily driver, Randy?
My daily driver is a 09 A5. So it's a stick car. I drive a stick every day.
Nice.
And I have driven a stick every day since I was, 16 or 17. I can't get away from them. Even when I try to, I can't. I'd like to have an automatic. But
here's my question for you, though.
Good deals.
Okay. Do you enjoy? I know you enjoy driving it. Okay,
Yeah.
It's a nice car and all the
Yeah.
other stuff. Do you think life is just too short to drive boring cars?
Yeah, well,
You know what I'm saying? Should you have a daily
well,
driver that? Okay, so we live in Michigan. It's snowing out now. I mean, you're not going to drive your. We won't talk about Corvettes, but your
all right.
O2 Trans Am. At least that's a little bit better.
Okay, well, all right. Well, you talk about daily drivers now. Talking about can you have fun? Do you remember my Mitsubishi?
Oh,
Were you
gosh.
out in Wyoming? I had that.
I think I was out west when you had.
Okay,
your
that was
Mitsubishi.
my Mitsubishi. I don't know, 2-door. It was we called it the shit box.
Okay.
I bought it for $500. That me and Josh had so much fun in that car because it would be like winter here in Michigan. It had Mini Cooper tires and wheels on it, so it looked like huge. They were like 18s on this little Mitsubishi. And me and Josh were out by his farm out in Cass City in a snowstorm driving back, and we lost control. And there was a guy standing in his big bay window, and we went past his house looking through the windshield at him, laughing. Because I didn't care.
It doesn't
we
matter,
wrecked it,
yeah.
Laughing, because we were having a good time. And I drove that car, the tires off it, and then I sold it to Adam, and he drove it till it blew up. But I
remember when like I said, we got to get Josh on the show. He won't do it, and I don't know why.
We'll figure it out.
We'll get him because, obviously Josh been a friend of ours for forever.
Yep.
And remember when he had the Sunbird?
Yeah.
It had AC but no rear defrost.
Yeah.
If you turn the AC on, it would almost stall the engine.
Yeah.
It didn't, but it would have.
It was close. Well, I remember me and him were driving that around. That was the Sunbird. I'm thinking of the Calais. See, that was before we knew.
Yeah, before I met you guys.
Yeah,
you
he had this Oldsmobile Calais. And we're driving around, and the radio would just turn up all on its own for no reason. And one day, that's it. He had enough. He reached in the dash, he pulled it out, and he threw it out the window as we're going down the road. It smashed all over the road, and I'm laughing my ass off, and he was just so mad because it kept doing it. He drove that car until you get water in the back seat because the rear strut mounts were rotted out.
Oh, yeah.
We drove it into the junkyard, and it looked perfect on top, but underneath was gone.
Yeah. Right.
You know, I mean, that's not... I mean, I know where we're going with this daily driver thing,
Oh,
but
yeah, we're going down the path now.
Yeah, these are just, you know...
We've all had, you know, we were younger, and I know a lot of guys out there can relate to this. Everyone had some pile of junk that they drove, you know, for a first car and all that other stuff.
Well, did you drove my ambulance around for a while, didn't you? One day.
I don't think I drove. I just drove around for maybe like a weekend. We needed it to haul something. I don't remember what it was, and we just
it was like that.
Yeah,
just stupid stuff.
Yeah, just stupid
because
stuff.
Because I was, you know, king of buying dumb. I mean, I
if there was an award for who could buy the dumbest crap, you would win.
I know, because I have bought stuff that, you know, how many people do you know have had an ambulance, a semi? I mean, that really have no use for them. You know, wrecker. Come on.
Okay, you know where that semi went? You know that's in Europe right now?
No way.
Yes.
No, you're kidding me.
That
really?
cab over that you had?
Wow.
Yeah. So I bought it from you. Okay, so
that
Randy
was
had a semi. He had a
wasn't
cab
it like
over.
Phil somebody that the cab was made special for him.
Yeah, it was.
It had a big plaque.
Yep, it was
on
a guy that I worked with, Dad.
Yeah.
And
well, he bought
it
it from that guy, I thought.
Maybe he did.
I don't remember.
But
I just remember him telling me the story.
It was a cab over Freightliner, I believe.
Yep, it was a Freightliner.
Yep.
It was oh my God, what the heck was that?
We got pictures of it somewhere.
I do too. I know, but
I remember I drove
a huge cab.
I remember I drove it out of your driveway. The backstory to that night. So I come out to your place, and we fired it up, get it out, and I drove it onto the road.
And then Kurt drove.
Kurt came down to drive. Okay, so
yeah, because he left his
part
Cadillac
of the shop.
there.
Okay, part of the shop I know was actually part of a big farm here in Bentley.
Yeah.
It's part of a place called Schmidt Farms, and Kurt is the owner of it. And I remember I was at your place, and I called him, and I says, hey, because I had my dually there. I says, hey, I bought this cab over Freightliner. Will you drive this home for me? And he came to drive it. Remember we had to chain the center axle
Yeah,
up?
the center axle up because the brakes were locked up.
Yes, the brakes were locked up. So he gets out on the road, and the thing quits moving.
Yeah, he was just spinning.
Yeah, just spinning. We chained my dually to him, and I towed him the rest of the way home. We're
Well, I
about 14
remember
miles away.
the best part was you took off down
I
7
thought
miles.
he was coming.
He's sitting in
Yeah.
the middle of the road, and it's just spinning the tires. It's spinning one tire. It's just throwing dirt in the air and stuff. And he's just like, and I go out there, and I'm like, what the heck's going on? He says, it won't move.
Yeah, I'm a mile down the road already.
He's a mile down the road, and it's dark. It's like it's probably like this time of year.
Well, hold on a second. I'll tell you just what I was getting with the backstory to that though is I called Kurt at a moment's notice, and I said, hey,
he dropped everything.
His wife was in the shower. They were getting ready to go Christmas shopping. And he stuck his head in the bathroom and says, hey, I got to go real quick, and just walked out the door on her.
But he's also a farmer, so that happens a little bit more.
Right.
But
yeah, not 2 weeks before Christmas or whatever it was.
There was no snow on the ground,
No,
but it was
just
dark and cold. And the
we
best part was, I remember Kurt, I was talking to him. I walked out on the road, and I'm like, what's going on? He says, it won't move. He says, just spinning that tire.
You know what makes me so mad about that? We got that thing home. We towed it back to the farm.
Yeah, he got it back to the shop and fixed it in like 30.
Yeah, like an hour.
Yeah.
We didn't. So when we were trying to get it out of there, I didn't think about it at the time. All we ended up doing was pushing it in the shop at the farm, backing off the S cams, and then the wheels all freed up. So we could have drove that thing home if we.
Yeah.
I didn't know. We were just guessing.
Well, I mean,
here.
all I did was drive it around the yard. I never even.
Right. So, but anyway,
It was one-
not a
like-
daily driver truck. All right, that's.
I mean, it could have been.
It could have been, I guess. But it was a nice. But anyways, the guy that bought that, we cleaned it up. We were going to use it on the farm, but it's not. It didn't have what we needed it for.
It didn't have a wet system.
It didn't have a wet system on it.
That
That's
was
right.
the problem.
Yep, it didn't have the hydraulic lines for a
Yep.
dump box, for a trailer with a dump box.
Yeah.
And I sold that, and a guy come out of Detroit.
I remember that.
Yep. He showed up here, looked at it, fell in love with it, and said that the Europeans love cab overs.
Yeah, the big cab over, but I never thought it went there. Man,
Yep.
God.
He got.
Wow.
He bought it. They sent a company here with a wrecker, towed it out of here, and when I was talking to him, he had already had it sold to somebody in Europe.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
that's where that truck went.
Yeah, that was a 91 or 90.
Yeah, early '90s Freightliner cab over.
Yeah, it was like aerodynamic style, but it had the huge sleeper.
Had a double bunk sleeper on it.
Yeah, it was
in fact,
huge.
he loved that the most about it.
It was really a really rare truck. Really.
Yep.
I mean,
he loved the fact that it was a double bunk sleeper.
yeah, and it was
So-
in decent shape. It
was
really
a good
was.
shape. Yeah. He said it was going back to their shop first. They were going to do something to it, and then it was off to Europe
After-
somewhere.
Wow.
So yeah, so that's where that truck lives now. So
Yeah.
as you can say, we've sold vehicles internationally.
Yeah.
You know what? Since I've been doing this, I was actually laughing about this the other day. I have sold a vehicle because at my shop that I have, we're a repair shop, but I also have a dealer's license.
Yep.
And I have sold cars to people in what did I have it figured out to, like 18 different states.
Yeah.
So, anyways, besides all that, so back to daily driver thing.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when you're talking daily driver, you mean something that somebody's pride and joy daily driver, not their.
Yes. You know what I'm saying? I don't. The daily driver stuff gets me because what do you consider a daily driver?
I think to be a daily driver, you have to drive it at least 50% of the time during the week.
Yeah.
When the thing's broke, because that's what happens with a daily driver is they break all the time, especially if you're in any type of four-wheel thing. Like a drag race, something that like roll racing or drag racing, most of the time they don't break stuff you don't drive it there, break it, and then not figure out how to get it home.
Right.
I mean, I have left more than one truck up in the woods around here for several nights and had to come back for them.
Well,
I drove up there by myself.
We'll tell this story another day, maybe. I don't think that this is not the time for this to come up. Remember when we had to leave my Blazer in the swamp for a week?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That was a good time right
Yeah.
there. But that was not a daily driver Blazer, though. That
was
it
your
lifted
first
on
mud truck.
38s
I mean, your first real mud
my
truck.
first real mud truck.
Yeah.
But anyways, but I say it all the time. Life is too short to drive boring cars. And I don't know how people can do it. Like, I don't know how you can jump in your 2015 Malibu and be happy about it every day. But, I mean, I guess that's...
Well, I mean,
It's what
it's
it
different
is.
if it's a commuter. Like I said, around here, what I drive. I drive 30 miles to work every day, one
Right.
way. And so, my A5
I
is
drive
great
half
for
of
that.
that.
Yeah, you got to walk.
I walk
get
to
out
my
and I
job.
jump in a golf cart and I come over to the shop. But you can still make your daily driver a fun car. I mean,
That's what I think
you
that's
need to
what we're
make it-
after here.
it's
How do you
gotta
make
be-
your daily driver more fun? But you can't go crazy with it.
No, because it's
Well,
your
you
daily
could.
driver. You could, but then the problem is, you're like, well, it's on jack stands, and I got to get to work tomorrow. Which I have been in that situation. And
Oh,
I go, hey, can I borrow a vehicle?
Yeah.
Or I remember in college. Now this isn't the daily driver. I mean, it is, but it isn't like I was modifying. I had 85 Trans Am, tune port, T-tops, white. Well, the alternator went out of it, and so I called into work, and I'm like, "Hey, my alternator's dead. I need an alternator, and I'm gonna get one from the parts store. I'm a college kid. I can't afford it." And they said, "Okay." And 15 minutes later, there was a knock at the door, and the manager was standing there and said, "I'll give you a ride to work." I said, "Well, how am I gonna get home?" "Well, we'll get you back home too." I'm like, I mean, talk about these kids nowadays calling to work. I stubbed my toe. And I was like, I had a legitimate reason. It wasn't like I wanted to knock, but they were
Right.
like, they showed up. I rode my bike a couple days, and it was like raining that day. And I'm like, I'm not riding my bike to work. I don't care.
Well, talk about daily drivers and all this other stuff. The thing is that modified daily drivers, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know what point we're trying to argue here. Like, as far as your daily driver goes, if you get a car that's reliable, get you where you need to go, and you daily drive it. But my question is that I keep saying it over and over again, life's too short to drive boring cars.
Mm-hmm.
I want all my daily drivers modified. in some way, shape, or
Yeah.
form to fit my personality,
Yeah.
whether it be a lifted half ton or my dually's got tune and some rims on it, some other stuff that matches my
Yeah.
trailer. I like making this stuff.
You want to
my
make it your own.
But at what point do you stop modifying it to make sure that it stays a daily driver?
Well, here's the thing. It's one thing comes to it's an age thing
It is.
because, my A5, I got that. I'm 46 years old, and I immediately started looking. I'm like, well, I could do this. I could delete the mufflers, and I could do this and
Right.
this and this. And I'm like, I haven't done anything to it. I put gas in it, oil in it, make sure it runs good. I don't care. I want to get back and forth to work and make sure the AC works, cruise control works. I just want to I want a nice ride.
That's one thing I will say.
Now, I still drive that car like I'm 22, especially in the snow. I mean, that all-wheel drive car, I throw some snow tires on it, and I'm the guy passing you in 80 on the highway because I'm like, get out of the way. I don't care. I won't go in the ditch.
What I'm getting
if I
at-
do, we're coming back out too.
Right. What I'm getting at is right.
It's just- Josh,
I know.
Josh is the best one for that. 'Cause he said, you get on the highway every morning, you set your cruise to 80 something to get to work. And I go, yeah. And he goes, why? And I go, I don't know. I don't want to sit in the car. I pass him and he's like cruising along in his S10 that's, mint. What year
Yes,
is
man,
that?
That's a 95 or 96 S10 with only like
96
36,000 miles
Yeah,
on it.
36,000 miles. He was riding my ass the other day, though. I was doing 80, and he's right behind me. And he gets next to me, and I'm laughing. I'm like, we're having a good time, but
Right.
whatever.
Like I said, I like modified stuff. Your daily drivers all my daily drivers are modified.
Yeah.
But
Well,
what point do you not modify them anymore?
here's the thing.
I think just do
this
whatever
one
you
goes
want.
back
Go
to,
crazy.
this is the one that, like modifying stuff. I think of your brother-in-law, Charlie.
Yeah.
Okay. Every sled he touches. He's got to mess with it, and he's got to change it.
Yeah.
And they're all blown up.
Well, that's what happens when you start
I know.
screwing with stuff.
Okay, now my sled, it's got the exhaust on it, and that's it. It's a 4-stroke.
Right.
But that's it. I would rather have something I can go out and ride and have a good time
There's something to that too.
than something that, it might be the fastest thing on everywhere, but it's always in pieces. It's like a boat, Like my cousin, I don't know if he still got him, but he used to have a big cigarette boat, and he used to go down to Lake St. Clair. And my other cousin said, if you ever want to ride on it, get it there early in the year because it'll be blown up by midsummer, and he's sitting the rest of the year getting fixed.
Right.
Boat stands for break out another 1,000.
Right, yeah. The thing is, though, is that I met a guy one time, this was years ago. He brought his Corvette into the dealership. His Corvette had 100, I'll never forget that. And this is the thing, and I don't know why there's a stigma around this stuff.
Okay.
Okay, what I mean by that is this. Everyone was picking on him because his Corvette had 136 or 140,000 miles on it at that time. He always wanted a Corvette, and he went and bought one when he retired. He had a house in Florida, and he had a house here in Michigan.
So he drove it back and
Yeah,
forth.
that was the only car that he owned.
Okay.
He bought it, drove it all summer here in Michigan, and then when it was time to go down to his place in
Florida?
Florida,
Okay.
he's down there. He drove it all year down there.
That's great.
But I think that's awesome. But he got made fun of. Like, I can't believe you put that many miles on that
It's
car.
a Corvette. Who gives a shit?
That's what I said.
I don't. I'm like,
But you see what I'm saying? Though the guy
Corvettes,
bought what he wanted.
Yeah.
He wanted a performance car, quote unquote performance car.
Yeah.
And he wanted to daily drive, and he did. My hat's off to that guy. I hope he bought
I'm
another
glad
one
he
since
did it
then.
because at least like you said, the analogy the other day. He says you're saving your girlfriend for the next guy. By
Yeah,
not screwing her.
yeah. Keep the miles off it. That's right.
Kind of keep that fresh.
Yeah, keep that
you know.
fresh for the next guy that comes along. That's
whatever.
You get a car from me, or whatever.
Yeah.
It's well used.
Yeah. I probably
So-
found all the things that's going to break, fixed them, and it might still break some other stuff.
Right.
But like I said, I don't. My hat's off to that guy. 'Cause
It is. I said the same thing to that guy. I'm like, dude, that's so cool that's what you did. We go, when we race every year, we go to that
Thunder on the Strip. Yep.
Well, what it is it explain to people that are listening or watching. They're about 20 miles away from us. There's an airport, Gladwin, Michigan. Every year, twice a year, I think.
Yeah,
they're
just
back
about twice a year. They're back
They
twice a
shut the airport down, and you come out there, and it's run what you brung, race,
Yep.
go have fun, all that other stuff.
Good time.
And there's guys I know that show up to that, or that, I apologize, that won't show up to that. Like when we go there, these guys are all show up there. You see the guys with the Audis, and you see the guys with factory whatever cars. But you don't see the race car guys there. Like, I don't mean the race car guys. You don't see the guys with the Corvette, stock Corvettes, or stock SRT8s, or stock.
No, you
this.
like
You see
one.
some.
You know, you get one like last year or the year before, that guy with the TRX showed up.
Yeah, they got the TRX. And there was a guy with that Trailhawk, or not
Yeah.
Trailhawk, Trackhawk.
Trackhawk, yeah,
Showed
and
up
he-
with slicks all the way
yeah,
around
and,
on it. And
you know,
stuff.
that's cool. I'm glad that he's at least
But-
using it for what
Yes,
it's for.
but the guy that I shouldn't say one of the. I know lots of people that are like this. I knew a guy that had an SRT8 with a 6.2 in it. And that thing was fast. And I told him, I said, dude, Thunder on the Strip's going on. Come on, break that thing out. You
Just
bought
take
a
it.
race car. Let's go. I'm not taking that out of the garage. Are you kidding me? What are you saving it for? These guys that buy these factory race cars, I don't know.
I don't know. Well,
They need to get together
the
and just.
problem is, like, that goes back to that. You know, we go back to the TV shows and stuff like that, and you go back to, like, you look at Richard Rollins and Fast and Loud and stuff like that, and he bought all those brand new Copo Camaros they had,
Yeah.
with no drivetrain in them. Him and that other dude bought every.
Yeah, they bought
single,
like 15 of them or
They
something.
bought every single one of them, and there's just no value in them because they're not. They're a ready to make race car, but they're ready to. You've got to make it still.
Right.
In
You can even get titles for those cars.
Yeah, I know, and like, you know, I could see that. You know, a non-titled car.
Yeah, a non-titled car. I'm talking about, you could go up to the dealership right now. You and I could go up to the dealership right now and buy a brand new ZL1 Corvette, Hellcat, you name it.
Yeah.
And that would be a fun daily drive. I would drive the ever-loving crap out of a car like that. You got it back for me. That thing have 100,000 miles on it. I wouldn't
why
care.
not?
But these guys are shoving them in their garage and forgetting them to claim they're worth something someday. No, they're not.
Wow. The problem, like I said, it.
I know
Well,
a guy.
I blame Barrett Jackson for that.
Oh, Barrett
crap.
Jackson.
They were
They're
horrible. for
so much to blame for that.
that. You know, I mean, they took a whole, a whole muscle car generation and made it unobtainable for anybody that's, reasonably can afford one. You can't afford one anymore.
No, you can't.
You know, and then you got, like graveyard cars and stuff like that, and they're redoing them, and it's got to be spot on, perfect.
I have a lot of respect for those guys that do that.
They do a good job.
They
yeah.
do, but they've taken the market and just killed it.
Well, like I said, graveyard cars, whatever it is, what it is. If you really like the show, great. It's okay. I don't mind it. Them cars were never put together like that because I guarantee that there was one dude on there that was hungover or drunk putting that car together. It wasn't like that coming off the factory.
No, they're out
I
there
don't
making
care.
sure these door gaps are
these
right.
Things going
No.
to Pebble Beach and shit like that. That's what
Right.
they think. I got this Corvette. I bought a brand new Stingray, and in 50 years we're going to roll up to Pebble Beach with it. And they're like, well, Pebble Beach is probably going to be gone by then, and no one's going to care.
Right.
I don't know.
But
Go drive it. Go.
That's what I'm saying about
I'm not saying drive it to work every day and drive it in your snowstorm or whatever.
Right.
Okay, you want some standards. I won't drive it in the rain. All right, I can sort of see that, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's got windshield wipers, right?
right. Well, that's what we're getting at with this daily driver stuff. Is that what constitutes? I don't even think it's an argument about daily drivers. We know what daily drivers are. You got a car that you commute back and forth to work in a safe-ish manner.
Like they did it. I think they did the best on like that was Street Outlaws or whatever like that. They did a daily driver shootout, whatever, and they were like, you drive. We're gonna do a 20-mile round trip. Everybody drives, and then we're gonna stop. Everyone's gonna fill up at the same gas station with the same gas, and then we're gonna go race.
Right.
And see who's got the best daily driver.
That's what I like about the Power Tour.
Yeah, or the Power Tour, same thing. Power Tour is a little different because they're not regulating it that much. But I mean,
right?
Power Tour is cool. I'd love to do that.
I would like to do the Power Tour,
but
someday.
I don't know that I can. I don't know that I
right.
can.
Maybe one day they'll let us come do the Power Tour.
Well, I could maybe total roadkill style in some.
Oh yeah,
of
we're
garbage,
gonna take your Plymouth.
Yeah. Yeah, we take
we'll
the
take your Plymouth. Yeah.
We'll put twin turbos on it.
No windshield, just go. Safety goggles on.
Yep, safety
no
goggles.
Windshield, no, let's go. So anything can be constituted a daily driver. I think one of the things that bothers me the most, though, and when it comes to when we talk about daily drivers or production cars or all this other stuff, is that these guys are going and buying Hellcats and ZL1s and Corvettes and all this other stuff and parking them in their garages so they're unobtainable for other people.
Yeah.
When Dodge came out with the Demon, they should have never pre-sold those. That pissed
That's the
me
biggest
off
thing. They
more
pre-sell.
than they pre-sold them, and guess
Yeah.
who bought them? And guess where they ended up? Every one of them, no, not every one of them, but a lot of them ended up right at Mecum.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? For what?
Yeah.
What? Give the general public a chance to own
Yeah,
some of this
Well,
stuff.
okay, this is the manufacturer set price because they had the same problem when the R8 came out with Audis. You know, they were like manufacturer set price was $250,000 or something. I don't know.
Right.
Don't quote me on that crap.
Right.
But and they were like the dealers like, oh, we can sell it for $50,000 more, and we're pocketing that because we can get that. And I'm like, no, you shouldn't. I'm like,
Right,
just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know, whatever.
I get what you're saying. You know, but at least did the Audis come with their own wardrobe?
No, they didn't. No, they're not a Corvette. You don't.
That's
get
what I'm saying, yeah.
You don't get the New Balance and the.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. When you buy a brand new Corvette, a guy comes out and starts measuring you. While you're signing the paper, you're over there signing.
Yeah.
Some guys over there tape measuring. He's tape measuring. They're trying to figure out,
Yep.
what shoe size is,
Yep.
and they get your New Balances out.
You got your New Balance. You got your golf shorts, and then you got your
or your tan cargo shorts.
tan car. You got your choice. And then
Yeah.
you got your choice of members only jacket, like leather red or.
I don't know. I can't think of any other car that you buy that's like that besides Jeep. You know what I'm saying?
But
Corvette,
right there.
they even give you the underwear. If you don't have your Corvette, did you know that if you're not wearing your Corvette underwear when you go to the coffee and cars, they kick you out?
I didn't know that. But
They
I don't
show
have
up
a Corvette.
Take your
so I don't-
pants off. Let's see.
Let's see
wait
what
a
you're
second.
Well,
I
like
heard
you
that's
said,
a
the
rule.
worst thing
I
is you
could be
go,
wrong.
okay,
I don't
you
know.
go, all right, you just said that. You said Jeeps.
Yeah.
The mall crawling modified, that's my daily driver. It's on 35s. Well, that's great. And the only dirt it seen was when you swerved off the pavement there.
You know what's funny about that though? But is that the dealerships have all those off-road courses now?
Yeah, I know.
Or the Jeep dealerships do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought.
And they're all
that was
hard
funny.
packed. You could, I honest to God, I would love to go there with like a mountain bike if I was in better shape and like go up the course and be like, look at what I can do. Pop a wheelie at the top and ride down the
Well, you're old
hill.
enough now. Get electric one. Get an
Yeah.
electric bike.
I like it to feel good. Look at Jeep. It's, off-road capable.
Right.
I mean, and I just bought one. I did. I went and bought one. If you
Oh,
watch your
good.
other episode.
Oh, good. That's what I like to hear. I know you did. Yeah. We won't get a small block swap your YJ.
Well, no, we're going to put a big block in it. We're going to put 2.5 tons on
Big
it.
block, 2.5 tons.
It's going to be totally streetable.
Streetable Jeep. That's totally streetable. But I like, what I want to tell people is when it comes, I've been asked it a lot, what do you recommend is a good car to drive and this, that, whatever. And I'll tell you what, I have figured out when it comes to good cars that you cannot answer the question of whether or not you have a good car until the day you get rid of it.
Yeah.
Because I have people ask me all the time. They'll come in there and be like, what's a good car to buy? Well, they're all good and they're all bad.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's
take
a
your
reason
pick.
there's an industry to repair them.
Right. That's why we're here. We're not here just for fun.
Yeah.
I mean, some of us are, but I mean,
Well,
but I've been asked that a
I've
lot.
said this a million times, and we've all bought used cars, but I go, somebody got rid of that not because they were like, you know what, this is the best car I ever had. I'm going to get rid of it just because it's been so good.
Right. I've said that for years. 98% of people don't trade. What do I want to say? Don't trade in good cars.
No.
The only time you're going to get a decent trade in on a car or a decent used car is if it's a lease turn in.
Yeah.
36,000 miles. They didn't do a thing to it.
All right, I got
But-
a story to tell you.
okay,
All right,
I'm waiting.
This is
I'll brace
really,
myself.
this was probably the mid 70s, I think, or something. My dad told me this story. So my dad and I believe they were both working at the dealership at the time. This might have been even in the 60s. Well, this dude came in and he goes, I want to buy this car, blah, blah, blah. This is my trade-in. I want to come in. I want to have all the paperwork done. I want to grab the keys. I want to walk in this door. I want to walk out that door, jump in the car and go. I don't have time to screw around. And they said, okay, well, what's the car? All right, we'll give you this much towards it, blah, blah, blah. The next day, this guy came tooling in this car, pulled up to the door, stopped, got out of the car, walked around, walked through the showroom. They handed him the keys, jumped in the car, started up, took off. He was gone. They walked out to the car and they hit the key and it don't do nothing. There was no engine or transmission in it. somebody had pushed the car down
Pushed
the road,
it that far.
and he got to speed, and then he just coasted into the parking lot and got out of the car and walked in. And they
That's
were like,
great.
and this was before computers and all
you
that.
could still get away with that today.
They did it at the shop I worked at with the Excursion.
Yes, I was going to say the Excursion had 3 birthdays at that dealership. That's
So the shop I worked at took an Excursion on trade. Now this was midsummer.
yeah.
It's a 6-liter
it was a 6-liter Excursion. Yeah.
Excursion. It's sitting in the parking lot running
Right.
in the middle of summer, and I thought, man, that's kind of odd that truck's just sitting there running. And I didn't think anything of it. And I walked in my truck, got leaving work, and I left. Well, the next day, come back into the shop, and the Excursion's sitting in the same spot, or was sitting around back. And they said, hey, we moved that Excursion around back, and now it don't run. I said, what do you mean it don't run? It don't run. We can't get it to start. It doesn't start. It just cranks.
That was the one the guy was making his own fuel for it and all
Yep,
sorts
it
of
found
stuff.
out the guy had owned a restaurant, had put a grease car kit on it, was running grease, used, cooking grease as the fuel, and the injectors had failed and
Right.
filled the engine up with grease.
So let me ask you this, though.
But it ran.
I
He
can't
drove it
remember whatever happened to that thing. I know it had like 3 engines put in it, all sorts of crazy shit. What
they
did
never
do with
went.
it?
They never went after the guy. They never nothing.
Right.
We ended up putting an engine in it. I put the first engine in it, and when I took the oil pan off, I stuck a 2-pound sledgehammer in the oil pan. The
handle, yeah.
handle in, and it stood straight up in it. This was so thick in the pan, full of grease.
Wow.
So we put an engine in it, and it went like, I don't know.
Didn't they sell it a different time and it came back, or it just never sold
It
again?
never sold. It ended up going to auction. They ended up putting a second engine in it because the first engine failed.
Well, it's a
Because
6-liter.
the same thing. Same thing happened with that 6, because that was the first generation. Of
Yeah, it was the
6-liter.
first gen. Yeah, it was that. Yeah,
And
03.
it failed. We put another engine in it, and it, like I said, it was at the dealership for 3 years.
Yeah, 3 years. It celebrated 3 birthdays there.
3 birthdays. This car. I mean, you talk about a car 100 and some days. This thing, yeah, we're talking
Right.
many. Like
So what did they end up doing? What did they get? They just auctioned it, took
they
the
ended
loss
up
on
taking. They ended up taking huge loss on it and auctioning it off.
Yeah,
That's
I
where the same
figured.
thing with the shiny thing. If it's shiny, a salesman will give you lots of money for it.
Oh yeah, heck yeah, they will. Shiny sells. They say it all the time.
Yeah. Underneath's gone. I mean, but that.
Right, that one was a little bit. That was excessive.
And like
one.
I said, that was recently, and I mean, the dude never came back in for any of his maintenance.
Well, of course he
nothing.
didn't. He knew what he was doing.
Yeah, he got a brand new car, took off, and was like, "See ya, good luck with it." He was laughing the whole way down the road. Oh my God, I got away with it.
Yeah, no kidding. But like I said, you can't tell a good vehicle till you get rid of it. Because I've had people come in here, and come into my shop, and they're getting rid of a vehicle, and they say, well, this thing's just a pile of junk. And they've owned it for 6 years, and they haven't put hardly anything into
Yeah.
it. It's like, no, that's a good car.
Well, that's the thing. Like we used to get that at the dealership all the time. They're like, well, it's going to cost you $5,000 to fix this car. And it's like, well, what should I do? I don't know. I can't make the decision for you. I says, can you go buy a car that's is going to be as reliable as this
Right,
car
for the
has
same
been
price.
for the same price?
Right, I say that all the time.
I can't make that decision for you. I can give you $500 for the car and I'll fix it, and then
right. But and I tell people all the time, when we're looking at used cars and we're looking at this, I tell you what, what the biggest, and I've said this a lot, and I don't know why some people agree with me, but most people don't agree with me when I say this. Stay away from low mileage old cars. Stay away from them. The reason I say that is this: every single one that I've ever seen and or owned has been nothing but problems. Like what I mean by
I know
old,
where
I'm
you're
not
going.
talking like an early '90s or whatever.
No.
But I mean, like, I had a gal come into my shop, and she had a 2006, I want to say, Pontiac G6.
Yep.
The thing had 40,000 original miles on it. Beautiful car.
Yeah, but
And it had just a slew of problems.
well, the biggest thing is that
It wasn't proven.
it wasn't proven. But the other thing was that, oh my God,
Oh, you're dying. That's okay.
just because it's not got any miles doesn't mean you shouldn't have the maintenance done.
Well, that's the thing. That's what people are doing. GM started this thing I don't know if this came from the dealer or if it came from General Motors or Ford or I don't know who decided this one day. And I'm not going to stand here or sit here, I should say, and wave the banner for one car company or another. Okay, they all have their ups and downs. They all have their faults. They all have everything. But I'm going to say this, and I there's a lot of people out there that want me to say this, so I'm gonna. Is that do you know why Toyotas last so long?
Maintenance.
Because they're maintenance. They push maintenance like nobody's business. The dealership that I was at, I could not figure this out for the life of me. I still don't get it to this day. And if someone out there can explain it to me, I'd like to know.
Yeah.
When I was there, the service drive was full of, I call it, propaganda. Change your oil, get your tires rotated, do this, do that, do that. Yeah. And the owners came in one day and had it all taken down. And when I asked about it, they said, well, it makes it look too cluttered and trashy around here. I'm like, but we're a service department. We service vehicles. Yeah. So everyone's taking the maintenance out of these vehicles, but Toyota's still pushing. But these people are driving their GM and their Ford and their Chryslers. You go up to any Ford garage, there's barely any propaganda in there for maintenance in your vehicle.
Well, I mean, it, like I said, it came down to I worked on
you worked on foreign stuff. Yeah.
European cars. If you ran what they recommended, the manufacturer's got a recommendation for a reason, not because they want to see you come in here and we're going to sell you this and all. No, this is what this is the oil we say to use. This is when we say to use it.
Right.
My Audi out there, I change that oil every 10,000 miles, and everyone's going to go, "Oh my God, you do what?" Well, right. I run the oil they recommend.
But see, GM can't do that because when you burn a quart every 1,000 miles in your junk GM engine,
but if you do it, if you still go by their, you're doing 2 oil changes. You're just not changing the filter. You got to put oil in it. Right. I mean, I'm just saying.
Holy crap, we're out of time already today. We need to visit this more tomorrow. We need to visit this more next time. We're talking about all that stuff. Well, once again, that's Behind the Wrenches with Zach and Randy, and we'll see you again in a couple of weeks.